We're going to get started. Today, the lesson is over charts and two-way tables. So the first chart, the line graph shows the number of songs that were downloaded in thousands. So you know that it's in thousands because over on the side it says in thousands from April to August. So question one, how many songs were downloaded in July? Okay, who said that? Okay, I couldn't tell you were yawning. Yeah, so for July, we go over to July and then we go up and it looks like it goes over to 60 and it's in thousands. So it's 60,000. $60,000. So how many songs were downloaded in June? So I kind of look and I notice that it's not really exactly in any, it's not exact like the other. And I see that this one and in April, they aren't really exact. But I do think that this one is maybe just a tiny bit above this one, which this one looks pretty much in the middle. So I would say that one's probably 35 and maybe this one is 36, maybe. So let's say 36 because it's slightly above. So 36,000. Find the decrease between May and June. So in May, we have how much? 40. So I'm just going to do 40 and then minus 36 to figure out that we have how many? 4,000. You have two more questions in this section. See if you can get those done. I don't think it should take you more than 2 minutes. Let's say 2 minutes. See if you can get those other two questions done. For August, I say maybe 78-ish, I think. All righty. The next thing that we're going to do is a two-way table. So with two-way tables, you can read them both ways. This one says the table shows a survey of 50 registered voters in a city. Each voter was asked whether they plan to vote yes or no on two different issues. So the way that you read it is two different ways. Along the top, we've got people that plan to vote yes on issue Q, and then if you plan to vote no on issue Q. So along the top, we have issue Q. Along the side, we have those that plan to vote yes or no on issue P. To find any kind of probability is the part out of a whole or a total. So the way that we read this, it says if a voter who plans to vote yes on issue P is randomly selected, what's the probability that a voter also plans to vote yes on issue Q? So you have to read these in two different, like in two different sentences almost. So a voter that plans to vote yes on issue P. So we have to find issue P. Don't start marking this up because every question is different. I'm just showing you. So yes on issue P. So we're going to look down this column. Yes on issue P. That's from here. Yes on issue P. So we're going to look down this row right here. So my total is going to be this number. So I can put my total down. And then it says out of those 20 people, what's the probability that they're going to vote yes on issue Q? So reading down this column, well, that's yes and that's no. So it's 8 out of 20. Does that fraction reduce? It can reduce. They're both divisible by 2, so it definitely can reduce. So what can it reduce to? In fact, they're both divisible by 4. How many times does 4 go into 8? Twice. And what about 20? 5. Okay, so that is a reduced fraction. We also want to change this to a probability and a percent. So type into your calculator either 8 out of 20 or 2 out of 5. It will be the same. What do you get? 0.4. I need you to know that that is the same thing as 40%. I've seen TSI write it all of these ways. So we need to know that that is 2 out of 5. We need to know that it's a probability of 0.4. We need to know that it's also 40%. The next one, 7. So I'm going to delete my highlight because that's what I was saying. You got to kind of read it different each time. If a voter who plans to vote no on issue Q, okay, so that's where I need to look. I need to find issue Q and they plan to vote no. So I'm looking down this column. So I know that my total is going to be out of 28. So you find your total from the beginning. And so those that plan to vote no on issue Q, what's the probability that they plan to vote yes on issue P? So what number do I choose? Yes on issue P. 12. That looks like it can reduce also. They're both even numbers. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. What's 8 divided or 28 divided by 2? 14. So I think we can reduce it again. 6 divided by 2 is 3 and 14 divided by 2 is 7. Okay, so that's one way that you can reduce things. Let's figure out what that decimal is. Point what? 0.3? 4 point. Okay, 0.43. So that's the same thing as 43%. Is that what you guys got, the rest of you? Absolutely. Did anybody else get that? Okay. So I'm going to give you, let's see, 3 minutes. See if you can finish up those in that section. And so I want you to make sure that you're writing them all 3 ways because I see it all 3 ways on TSI. Okay. Okay. Yeah, these are tricky, right? So which one are you working on? Okay, so it has to be the part out of the total. And so the way that you get the part is where the 2 things intersect. So looking at question 7, because I already have it highlighted, it's voting no for issue Q and yes for issue P. So down the Q column, we are voting no. And that's also, sorry, down the, sorry, that's wrong. I circled the wrong one. Down the Q column, we're voting no. So that's where I total. And then voting yes on issue P. This is where I get my part. So it's, and you'll know if you pick the wrong one, like, you have to be in the Q column because that's what's listed first. I need to be in the Q column. If you flip those, then you get a bigger number on top and that doesn't make sense. And so for the other one that I did, it was yes on issue P. So I have to look down the yes issue P column. So it's this one. And I know that my total is going to be over here at the total. And then for my part, it's the second part. So yes, issue Q. So I have to go to issue Q and they vote yes. So this is the part. So the total is always going to be where the total column is. Next, we're gonna do some eye yoga. So if you're finishing up that section, that gives you a moment. I really need eye yoga today. I'm barely hanging on. All right, I feel much better now. Are we ready to move to the back side? On the back side, this says the bar graph gives the percent of math club members who attended meetings last week. So it is important that we know that this is written as percents. It says that these numbers are percents. This is kind of like a pie chart. But it says, okay, if the math club has a total of 40 members, approximately how many more members attended on Thursday than on Wednesday? Well, on Thursday, it says 65, but it's not 65 people attended. There's only 40 members. It's 65%. So let's jot down what that actually is. To find out what 65% of 40 is, I'm going to do it down here below Thursday so that I kind of have it there. So I would do 0.65 times 40. What do you get? .65 times 40. 46? 26? Okay, 26. I'm going to jot that down so I have it written down. For Wednesday, we have to figure out how many attended on Wednesday. So that's 0.25 times 40. How many were there on Wednesday? How many? 10? All right. So how many more members were there on Thursday than Wednesday? Well, we would just do 26 minus 10. Figure out that there was 16 more. So you have one more to do. I'm going to give you a minute to do that one. On Friday, the number is 80. It's hard to see on your paper. Sorry. Were you guys able to get your answer for the other one? Good. The next chart, it says Robert sells 4 different flavors of jam at an annual farmer's market. The graph shows the number of jars of each type of jam that were sold at the market during the first 2 years. So what I'm going to do is actually give you 3 minutes. I want you to read those questions and see if you can answer them before I do, because I believe that you can. Which flavor of jam had the least increase in number of jars that were sold? Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Which one had the least increase? Well, that is showing the increase for blueberry. That's showing for grape. That's showing for peach. I agree. Peach had the least increased. Hopefully you were able to answer the other two. We still have plenty of time. So we're going to take a break and learn how footballs are made. It's today's the first day of fall. Did you know that? Yes, today's first day of fall. Fall and football go together. David, will you do that one light to make it better in here? Or Avery, since you're up, will you do it? The other one, yeah. First of all, like, let me just ask you guys, and if you already know, don't say, but how long do you think it takes to like mass produce a football? Kai says 20 minutes. Anybody else have a guess? Mass producing footballs. Okay. Well, let's see. Yeah, you think it's a lot, right? I mean, like that they could do it quick. That's what I thought. I was like, she's so fast. Yeah, you can tell. So how long? It was right at the end.
After 5 days.
5 days to make a football. And this is mass produced. This is Wilson. This is mass producing. It takes 5 days to make a football. I had no idea. I definitely did not think that. Thank you, David. Yeah, I'm thinking, you know, maybe once I saw that they were sewing, I was like, oh, okay, they're doing this by hand. It'll take a minute, but 5 days, that's not what I would have guessed. 5 days. Yeah. You learn something new every day. Today, you learned how long it takes to make footballs. The last question that we're going to go over. This one says the line graph shows the number of downloads of a smartphone app for the first 5 days after it was released. The first question says, how many downloads were there on day 3? What do you think? I agree. I mean, I think technically maybe it's just a hair over, but we can say 1,000. I feel like that's close enough. 1,000. How many total downloads were there? So how many total downloads? The confusion comes when students want to just say, oh, there's 5,000 downloads. No, it was 5,000 downloads on day 5. So how many do we think on day one? Yeah, I think 500. And then day two? 1,000. What about day three? Another 1,000. And then for day four, I think it's 2,000. And then 5,000. So what do y'all think? Yeah, 9,500, I feel like. So be careful when you read a graph like this, a couple of things. Like between day 2 and 3, it doesn't mean that there wasn't any downloads. It just means there was no increase in downloads. It was the same amount from day 2 and day 3. So you would have to add all these numbers up to figure out how many total downloads that there are. What? We are done for today for the worksheet together. You might have a couple of questions to finish up.